One day I feel alright. The next I'm looking for the light, for the light, for the light.
First, you may have noticed we have a new intro, and I'm really proud of it. I think it's super cute. It really shows my personality and what I would like to bring to the world. Now, you may have noticed that there have been some changes around here. For one, this channel has a bit of a rebrand. Here is the new Pragmastery logo. I made this logo on Canva with royalty-free pictures. They were copyright-free, so that's what I've made, and I thought it was so cute when I saw it. I had to go with it. I think it perfectly matches the vibe that I'm going for. The second part of this rebrand, as I have alluded, is kind of a personal one, but I am going to be legally changing my name at some point in the near future. I used to go by Dre, and you're going to still hear that in older videos. I'm not gonna go back and change all of my older videos and re-upload them. That's just too much work. But I will from now on be going by Scout in my personal life, but also online. I'm not gonna go into the details, but just know it's really important to me, and I feel so much better as a human being going by Scout. It feels right. I'm proud of that name, and I think it just suits me better in general. Everyone I've told has said that it suits me better, and they've already started calling me that. It just works. Lastly, I would love to reintroduce myself to my new followers by doing the newbie booktuber tag. It's kind of a silly tag since I've been on booktube here for a few years now. I think 3. So I'm just gonna redo it. It's fine. It'll be fun and it'll be fast. I started this channel 3 years ago as a medium to talk about books and connect with other readers, but more so, I just find it really exciting to read and talk about books, and I get more excited about books when I'm making a list video, when there's like a theme going on. I don't know, it's just something that makes me feel even more passionate about this hobby that I've had my entire life. It's been an outlet for me. Saying that I don't have very many friends in person who read books. Actually, I would say I don't have any friends who read books at the same degree that I do, let alone the same genres. So ultimately, it's an outlet for me, and I just enjoy doing it. And I don't really care if anybody watches the videos. I think that's why it's so easy for me to be on the internet, because I don't care if I only get 10 views. I'm here to have a good time, and I'm here for the people who do comment about books and say, oh, I read that book too and I loved it, or oh, I'm so glad you felt the same way. It's really filled my heart with a lot of bookish joy, so I would say that's why I've continued doing it. Having been a former librarian, I have a lot of reference and bookish knowledge. That's a bonus. I am very aware of what's getting published, new releases. I have a lot of library experience, which naturally very relevant to booktube. Additionally, I am currently a technical writer by day and a ghostwriter by night. Naturally, I am obsessed with writing and stories, and in terms of like social significance, I am queer, I am pagan, and then I'm an advocate for own voices activism, and I think all of those things are very important. Ultimately, I'm just kind of a weirdo and I love that, and I know there are people out there who are going to relate to me. We pretend we're all so unique, but ultimately it's nice to just see yourself in someone online. This is more of a channel rebrand, so I'm going to talk about going forward, why I'm excited. This video is so chaotic and it's stressing me out. I apologize for the air conditioner. It's hot. It's 90 degrees here in October. Going forward, I'm going to make an effort to post more consistently and to up my editing game a little bit to be a little more professional. I am capable, I just haven't been putting a ton of time into my videos recently because I wasn't feeling super passionate. I was having an identity crisis, but now that I feel secure in my identity, I think it's going to be a lot easier to edit going forward. Additionally, I would like to create more list videos and book reviews that are specific to like a book instead of vlogs. I love vlogging, but ultimately, the videos get really long and everyone's a vlogger. I like, you know, making videos that are more themed. It makes me more passionate about reading. For example, early on in my channel, I did the Reading the Forward series, so you don't have to video, and I loved making that video. Yeah, it took a little longer to make than a vlog, but ultimately it was so much fun. It's a silly question because reading to me is like breathing, but if I answered it seriously with my scholarly background, stories are the meaning of life. We need stories to instill hope, record history, share knowledge, and leave behind something of ourselves after we're gone. Reading is also one of the ways we experience the world, challenge our perspectives, and grow as individuals. Stories are necessary in culture. They define the culture, they record it, and I think they're the most important things in any culture is the stories. That's why I love reading. I think it's just important and it's part of us. It's part of our existence. I'd say on my own as an individual, the first time I really felt that deep passion for reading, that you know what I'm talking about, it gets you into fan fiction, it's all you think about. I'd say that first series would be The Magic Thief for me. I loved this series. I loved it. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I even learned the secret language in the back of all of these. Like, I was obsessed. I was probably only like 7 or 8 when I read these. I can't honestly remember, but this is what started the obsession with books, I would say. I guess I would ask what event or inciting incident caused them to start their channel. For me, I was pregnant and I had to quit my job at the library during the pandemic. I was stuck at home, so I'm curious what incited that first idea to start a channel for everyone. Well, I've already been doing this for 3 years, but I'd say my only challenge as a stay-at-home parent would be finding quiet time to make a video to like actually film it. The editing part is like super easy. I just put in earbuds and do it. But the kid's TV is on, or she's talking, or she's yelling, or, you know, there's just clinking in the background. That's been my biggest challenge. I'm not gonna leave her alone in her room. She's 2. That's what I would say is the biggest challenge so far. I had adults reading me books from the time I was 2 years old. I had VH tapes as a toddler that would read books to me. So, forever. Where do I read? Everywhere. Literally everywhere. On walks, in my reading chair, in the kitchen, in the garden. Audiobooks open up a world of opportunity to read in any scenario, really. As long as there's no active thinking needed, like schoolwork, I'm probably listening to a book. But if you're talking only physically reading, probably in a bed, on the couch, or in my reading chair. This question's really hard. It's really long-winded too, I feel like, if you're gonna answer this genuinely. I'll have a list here. I would say the top ones would be like no violence against women or questionable consent in my books. I will read the content warnings, and if I feel like it's gonna get questionable, I don't read it because I don't feel like it's fair to the book. I mean, it's not fair to the book for me to rate it if I am to start not going to enjoy it because of a content warning. I don't like books with child or animal abuse. I stick to uplifting and hopeful books most of the time. I want the messages to be pretty hopeful and not like dire and somber, generally speaking. And I don't like horror or thrillers usually. There are a few exceptions, but generally I don't find that to be positive. I don't want to make my fight or flight system turn on purpose. I try to avoid that as a person with anxiety and PTSD. And then also I try to avoid problematic authors, whatever that means to you. Generally authors who are against human rights or have done things that are outright problematic in my eyes. Obviously, I can't avoid all of them. I don't research every single author that I read. If a problematic author is brought to my attention that I have read, I do not talk about them anymore, and I don't give them the attention that I think they don't deserve. If I do want to read a book by a questionable author, I generally just don't speak about it on my channel because I'm not going to give them free publicity. 11, this is like a bonus question, I guess. What does your book collection look like? Let me show you. I'll give you a little tour of my bookshelf. I try to buy books that represent me and my taste, but I also do collect a shelf of books here for my child when she gets older. I tend to buy books after I have read them in the last like 4 or 5 years for the most part, because I want to have books that I already have read and loved, and I have been burned in the past where I buy a book, I may have liked it, but I didn't absolutely love it, and I'm stuck carrying it around for the rest of my life. So I try to buy books after I have read them from my local library or an ebook. It's also just more sustainable that way, and our local libraries need us to check out books. That concludes our kind of announcement video in addition to the book tag. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below the answer to these questions for some of you. You know, what does your book collection look like? I'd love to get to know you down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe and stay kind, siblings.